Awesome. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the stream. I'm just quickly double checking that it's loading everywhere. So, yes, on YouTube, I think. Yes. Thank you. And let's just check Twitter. Because there was one person who said they want to watch it on Twitter. So I'm like, fine.
Hey, one is better than none.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. Awesome. And then our awesome mod in the chat is Keith. Thank you, Keith, for being here as well. Okay. So, um, for people who don't know, I am Jana. I'm the co-director of Project Constantine. And we have Viper here, who is... Introduce yourself, please.
I am Viper.
Hi, Viper.
How are you guys? I'm Viper. I am Company Chief Sergeant for 42nd Mechanized Infantry Battalion. And yeah, been fighting the war for quite a while.
Okay.
And also part of Project Constantine. Choo choo.
Oh, yeah. We decided he could join, but he's not a director because...
No, I've got... Thank you. I don't need...
You've got enough jobs. But
Yeah.
it was already doing a lot, and we were like, fine, let's just call him a volunteer. Then I feel less guilty about asking him for help.
You can't afford me. Come on.
True. Okay, Rachel, your turn.
I'm Rachel. I'm the Director of Protective Volunteer. It says commander here because if other civilians can call themselves commander, why not? Me too. We'll all be commanders. And Protective Volunteer is an organization that primarily helps the foreign military volunteers in Ukraine. We work a lot with the International Legion.
Awesome. And Magic?
Hello, I'm Magic, former Chief Sergeant of the 1st International Legion Mortar Battery. I've been serving here for almost 4 years come March, and previously I served in the U.S. Marine Corps. Did one tour in Afghanistan as well.
Nice. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Cool. Yeah. Oh, I should. So, chat, if you have questions, you can just pop it in the chat and I'll read it. Okay. So, we are talking about
Johnny.
Hey, Johnny, thanks for the 22 Norwegian krone. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so we are talking about the International Legion and the disbandment thereof. So, was this a shock to you guys? Let's first start with this. Like, was it a shock when this got announced, or were you like, yeah, it makes sense?
I would say it was a shock because in the previous year, we just went through like 6 months almost of rebuilding the 1st International Legion, getting new guys, restructuring, and then we were deployed to the Kupion's direction for 11 months where we were working successfully. So for most of us, it came as a surprise. We didn't see the Legion getting disbanded. It's a great place for people to start. And so many of us were just like, why? To us, it felt like a bad decision, I guess.
So what does it mean? Because I've been reading up, so I kind of know what it means. But for people who don't know, what does it mean? Because I think a lot of people are worried that foreign volunteers are no longer accepted. So can you explain a bit like what you know about the situation? Because I know communication is also not great.
Yeah, so communication, I'd say, is like the biggest problem here, right? In any professional military, communication is the number one most important thing. Without communication, you're just a bunch of gangsters, right? You're not professionals at that point. And we found out in late October that the Legion was disbanding. For me, it came as a shock because in October 5th, I resigned another 3-year contract extension, right? So for me, signing that contract extension and then the end of October being told, hey, the Legion's disbanding, I was like, what the fuck is going on here, guys? It didn't make much sense. So the Legion is being disbanded for a multitude of reasons, like problems with the HQ, battalion level staff, Some company issues here or there, like in the infantry assault companies of the First International Legion. I can't speak on behalf of the Second Battalion or Third Battalion. I don't know issues that they were presented with. Um, but for myself, I saw this issue years ago, right? Ever since the First Legion became a thing, it was always difficult to staff the International Legion, right? So when the First International Legion was a thing, the Second International Legion wasn't exactly there yet. It didn't exist. It existed on paper, but there was nobody there. And even though we were having staffing issues, they decided to make the Second International Legion. So therefore, it divided personnel even further from the First International Legion. And then once Ukraine decided to allow foreigners into all military units, that further divided where all the foreigners were going to, leading to big staffing issues. Um, there was also many times I would go to the training center to recruit individuals, and a lot of times I would call it sabotage. We'd get sabotaged. I'd recruit people, and then the Ukrainians at the training center would try sending them to different brigades, different units. There's even one guy that's still working here with us that I was on the front line actually, and he texted me in the morning. So I got the position. I had to call my commander over the radio, tell him to call the training center because they're trying to send this guy to a reconnaissance unit of special forces. This man never served in any military. He wanted to come to Mortars. He was very adamant in going to Mortars, but they drafted his contract up to go to a different place. So a lot of times we would recruit people and they would never get to the First International Legion. They would get sent to some other unit. I'm not sure what the cause was or what the reason was, but maybe there's backroom deals, but people get sent elsewhere. So um, coming to present day, of course, there's been more staffing issues, right? Especially in the infantry companies. Infantry companies go out there, there's injuries, there's deaths. I wouldn't say on this front line, though, that we've had a lot of casualties. We've had very few casualties in comparison to other areas. So, more so, it was just a lack of replenishment that led to us having issues with staffing. So, in October, when they announced we're disbanding, right, the Legion was already kind of low on numbers as it was. But for us, it didn't make sense that it needed to get disbanded at that moment. So us for Mortars, we actually ended up working until January 3rd of this current year. And up until our last week of working, we were probably firing 50 rounds a day or a week, sorry, on position. So clearly there was a need for the Legion, but higher command, I think, just didn't trust the leadership. And so they decided to dissolve the Legion and put it into the 475th Regiment of 92nd Brigade, which is an assault regiment.
Yeah, and you're a mortarman. I read
Yes.
your interview with Kiev Independent, and you were like, "Yeah, I don't really like that." So is that a big concern you and the guys have that you're all of a sudden going to be infantry?
Yeah, so in November or early December, I could check, my company commander messaged me. He's like, sorry, Magic, you've been transferred to the 475th Regiment's fire support as a machine gunner. And so I messaged him on Signal. I was like, with all due respect, you can send a message to the 475th and you can tell them to take that machine gun and shove it up their ass. You know, I'm a mortarman. I'm not a machine gunner. I spent the past 2 years here almost in Ukraine working on mortars successfully. Right, I'm a chief sergeant. I go out to position. I set up mortars successfully. The guys have been firing from positions that I've been placed myself. So for me, it didn't make much sense to take somebody that's specialized in mortars. But congratulations, Tavarish. You're now a machine gunner. Right, I've been to the zero line. My problem isn't going to the zero line. But in a professional military, any professional military, there's specializations for a reason. You get very good at your job. You understand it entirely. So for us, it's a big red flag. We decided to start taking mortarmen, drone operators, and like, congratulations, you're now assault infantry troops. And recently I found out it was because the 475th Regiment didn't have any mortar barrels for us to use. So for me, another red flag, there was no planning that went into putting everybody into the 475th Regiment. If they had just done a little bit more planning, they could have had everything in place. They already have mortar barrels. They have drones for the guys. They have everything allotted for the unit. But the commander from the 475th were like, no, sorry, guys, we don't have any mortar barrels. But what's interesting is us personally in the 1st International Legion, we have plenty of mortar barrels. So as to why they couldn't just transfer those over to the 475th, Who knows, right? It's like going to watch
Too much
yeah,
paperwork.
yes, it's like watching a Sylvester Stallone film or something like that, an action flick. You just got to leave your brain at the door because it's very unrealistic what you're about to see. Just paperwork, a lot of stuff that just a lot of red tape that just has caused people to leave, basically.
Viper, how do you feel hearing that? Because I know you have your opinions on the
I'm
Legion.
sitting. I'm sitting on the other side. So I'm a foreign unit in the Ukrainian unit. So I'm completely opposite. So for me, I never wanted to go to Legion. I did for a brief stint. Didn't like what I saw. Purely because I think it's also difficult to explain, but to explain it in military terms, the best I could is that the Legion was always never a brigade. They were always battalion size, uh, a battalion size. So which was always difficult, as they were always attached to different brigades to do like the grunt work. And I think from my side. I always wanted to have a Ukrainian commander that can speak English, that is attached to a brigade that can give us heavy artillery support, things like that. Um, because as soon, and remember, we were also 422nd, when we were 422nd, we were a separate attack battalion. So it was very difficult. But luckily, 42nd took us in and kept us because of the good work we do. And that helped us a lot because there was that communication, like Magic said. It made us way more effective because the flow of information and the flow of communication was very short. Our battalion commander could go directly to the tank battalion commander and tell him, "Hey, we need this done," and it happened like within minutes. And I always said, and Magic can disagree, we both can have our own opinion, but the problem always with the losses of the Legion was the fact that they never were a brigade size.
Are you still there?
Can you hear me?
No, I can hear you. Can't hear Viper.
Yeah, we lost him, I think.
Yeah. Okay, he muted himself. Now he's back. And he's a regular on the stream. You'd think he'd be so kitted out and everything.
I can comment until he comes back.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you as well, because you've obviously been working with the guys. So what has been what you've seen on this?
Yeah, so we help supply foreigners both in the Legion and those who are not in the Legion. And I think here's the complicating factor. There's a different understanding between what the Legion is if you are in the Ukrainian military versus if you've got a lay understanding of outside it. And this is where it's incredibly confusing. So to the average person who might support Ukraine or is thinking of coming to fight in Ukraine, they think foreigners are in the Legion. That's where the foreigners go. They hear International Legion and think foreigners. You hear that until you hear Legion disbanded, and you're like, oh, they don't take foreigners anymore. The reality is far from the truth. That first of all, it is just the Legion that's within the ZSU that has been disbanded. So there's two versions of it. There's also a group of people who are in the Gore Legion or DIU. That still continues. This has created a lot of confusion for them as well. Like some of them say that they have mates or family at home who are like, "Oh, hey, I hear you're done now. Are you coming home?" And they're like, well, no, that's not us. That's not us. Can you imagine trying to explain this? I think it's affecting the support that those guys can get too, because now the people think, "Oh, Legion disbanded." If you are a Legionnaire in Gore Legion and you're trying to reach out, to NGOs or volunteers or maybe to support you.
Is that something you've seen with your donor matching thing, where people are like,
Yeah.
so people are like, oh, we no longer need to. So you've had to like deal with that as well.
No one has cut support, but we have had good questions to clarify and say, like, hey, are these people still working? And yes, they are, because they're in Gore Legion. Same thing for the ones who are in the actual Legion itself too. They're still going to work regardless of where they go. But people are rightfully confused. And so foreigners can still join the Ukrainian military. It's actually, I think, in some ways easier now than ever. You can go to any different brigade. What's good about it is, there's some support positions that are open to foreigners now, whereas previously it was just infantry. It's good that there's different options elsewhere. However, it's incredibly confusing. Like, how do you know which one to go to? This is a big, probably the biggest decision of your life, of which one you would join and where you would go, choosing to go fight in a war in a country that's not yours, where you don't speak the language. Um, if you were like, oh, the Legion's gone, well, you don't quite know where to go. It's a bit disorganized. And then finally, I think it's important to realize, I think Ukraine created some of this confusion. And frankly, this is something I've noticed a long time ago, that, for example, we have channels on social media that support, say, the International Legion, but then we have footage on them from 3rd Assault Brigade. We have footage on them from Chosen Company when they were active. All kinds of references to foreign fighters who are not and never have been in the actual International Legion, but they're referred to as Legionnaires, they're referred to as International Legion for the purpose, that footage. That then, to any person who's just watching this, they think that's all the International Legion.
Mhm.
So at this point, if somebody thinks like, hey, the International Legion's done, foreigners can't come here to fight, I think any person with just general logic would think that that's true. This poor communication has created a lot of that problem. And that's something that I really hope Ukraine does address. I think it might be a little bit too late to address it now. However, I feel for people who are trying to figure out, like, wait, am I still supporting a unit that actually exists? Am I trying to go join a unit that actually exists? It's a little bit hard to figure out.
Mhm. Ay,
Sorry, can you guys hear me now?
yes, we can. Welcome back.
Yeah, sorry. So what I wanted to say, did hear what Rachel said. The problem is, yeah. So for me, it was always that I've been in some of the units, specialized units in Ukraine, and didn't find a home there because the problem was always the communication from command to whoever. There's two commanders. There's your battalion commander that sits, say, for instance, 40 kilometers from the front line, sometimes in a coffee shop in some units, and in other units, they are in your what we call KSP, your battalion headquarters. And then you've got your company commander normally in a frontal command position. Now, again, it's about the communication because you can imagine you guys. We're doing a clearance mission. We take heavy contact, and we need the drone team to either bring in a um, vampire drone or bring FPVs, or we need accurate artillery fire. Now, to arrange that is not something that was very difficult in the Legion, and I've got a lot of friends that was in the Legion. I've lost also a lot of friends in the Legion, second company and first company. Um, so that was always the difficult thing for me, and the main reason why I never joined the Legion as 1st Battalion or 2nd Battalion, or 3rd Battalion for that matter. 3rd Battalion, I had the option, but for me, it was always the way the missions that they do and stuff. It's specialized operations, so that wasn't, I wanted to be in the front line fighting. And so, coming back, that the disbandment of the Legion, I think, was probably when they restructured again last year. There was a lot of talk about first and second company being disbanded. We did get some of your mortar tubes. Thank you very much, Magic, to our unit, and also some of your guns and some of your equipment. The first time you guys went into like a rest period. Sorry. So we were very thankful. But I think, yeah, it's always the thing is you need to find where your home is, and if it's 3rd Battalion Legion or specialized units, then it's your home, or a mortar unit in the first company. It's where you are comfortable, and that's the most important. You need to find home. But as far as foreigners, I mean, we still have foreigners. I've got seven new recruits today arriving. So there's still a lot of foreigners that's coming in. Um, is it what it was in 2023? And I don't think so. Is the caliber of person coming in now the same as 2023? I also don't think so. But we get some good guys, and you get some guys that you need to put attention to. But it's in any organization. It's like like that.
Yeah, so I just see in chat we have Chris and Chris. Hey, we have two Chris's actually. Um, who so Chris Winters says, I don't even know what happens with my already submitted paperwork now. Like, do they keep that? Do I need to send it to someone else? And then other Chris said same for him. Um, he reached out to Magyar and directly, so they requested his info. So I think that also, creates that confusion because you have guys, and Rachel, you've probably worked with this a bit more with your flight sponsoring, where you have guys who, let me just add him back. Sorry. Okay.
Sorry,
Welcome
guys.
again. Oh, we can just blame Russia for that, by the way. That's Russia's fault.
Yep,
Yeah,
Piraras.
can I comment if you're
Yeah.
considering coming here and getting recruited? So this is where there's multiple avenues you can take. So I would encourage you guys just to submit new applications just in case things have gotten lost. But joinuarmy.org will be the website where you apply to different brigades within the CSU. There's a lot of different ones listed. If you're interested in going to Third Army Corps, so this will be Third Assault Brigade, Azov International. I believe it's the 60th, 66th, and 53rd under that. They have separate recruitment, and so you want to go onto their website for that. There's a few different options as well, but those are the two main ones that you want to do. And talk to people, talk to recruiters about what your options are and what is best for you, and ask them questions. I think if you're unsure of if your application has been processed, just submit it again, just talk to them. They're definitely still taking people. But also, if you applied on the ildu.com.ua website, that one does also route to Third Army Corps as well. So it's probably processed by them as well. Keep in mind that they've got thousands of people constantly applying. So if you get lost in the shuffle, that can happen. Just submit a new one and just talk to people.
Awesome. Thanks. I mean, yeah.
Sorry, just a quick one.
Yeah.
And you're more than welcome to join Project Constantine's Discord. My handle is in there, and send me your information, and I can put one of our recruiters in touch with you. Do me a favor: do not fly to Ukraine and try and find a unit. It's not a good idea. Reason why I'm saying that, Rachel and Magic can tell you, you will probably go to Ternopil and some suicide squad is going to take you up and say, promise you're going to get a better salary, you're going to make a lot of money, and you're going to die very quickly. So
you'll be a recon member in 2 days.
Yeah,
they're going to give you an AK, one magazine, and say attack. It's stupid. Don't do that. Work through the right channels. And do your due diligence. Go into Google and go and have a look at losses. It's stipulated for units. Go and have a look at where the units are fighting, where have they fought, and generally you can translate the web pages. So go into the military websites and go and have a look what people say about it. Do some homework. Don't just come to Ukraine.
Yeah. Also, if you're on Reddit, go check out the Foreign Legion subreddit. People are ask interesting questions there, and sometimes very funny answers that I just screenshot and send to Rachel. I'm like, I live for this.
That is the one place on the internet where you will hear brutal honesty from people about what it's like here. And I think I echo that. Don't come here without at least having a sense. Talk to people first of where you want to go. If you think of it this way, the harder it is to join a unit here, the better it is for you. The higher their standards are, just in terms of who they select, that means everybody else around you is going to have those same high standards. Versus if they'll just be like, hey, we take everybody, that means they took everybody. And I think one thing that is very hard to understand unless you've actually been here in Ukraine, you've either fought here or you've worked directly with people who are fighting, is it's hard to understand just the amount of people who've come here who really should not have been here, just in terms of mental health issues, addiction issues, whatever it is that's going on with them. you really don't want them next to you. You want to go somewhere where they have put in actual standards in place where they're not going, or you're going to have as limited amount of that as possible. This is the biggest decision you'd ever make in your life of coming here and choosing which unit to join. Take your
Can
time
I
and do it
also
properly.
say something? Sorry. And for all the guys that's listening and want to come to Ukraine, guys, rather note, if you have the slightest doubt if you are capable, you're not going to be capable. And the problem is you're going to waste 4 months of my time before you go to the line just to tell me you want to break contract 4 months down your contract. And important, you cannot break your contract within the first 6 months unless there's an immediate family member that's dying and you need to go back to your country, or there's a problem at home legally, but then you shouldn't have come in the first place. And third, if there's death in your family, nearby family, then we will break your contract. We will hold you to that 6 month contract because we are spending the resources, we are training you, we are spending. Promise you.
Niviani. Oh, there we go. Okay, you're
Uh,
coming in and out.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
So I promise you, please do not come and waste our time. It's a war. If you think that you're gonna spend some time in, I don't know, Lviv, chatting up Ukrainian women, we don't want you. I can promise you, if you're serious and your core values are correct. And by the way, if you have an addiction, we will find out, and I can promise you that addiction is not going to be rubbed at all in 6 months. So you better think of, if you want to quit the addiction, then come, because you're not going to get close enough to any addicted things that you can buy. So yeah, again, if you're serious and you want to help Ukraine, more than welcome to come. Really, we need soldiers, but we need fighting people. We don't want war tourists. And by the way, if you want to join our unit, your TikTok profile is going to be deleted, or your social media, and you're going to pretty much have nothing. And you will not have all the awesome videos that Third Assault is putting on the internet, because you're not even allowed to take your phone with you, or a camera, or a patch, or anything. So that's our rules. That's how we work.
Yeah, like, so I know you obviously, like, you're like my brother basically, but when you talk like this, I'm like, okay, Commander Viper is scary. um, so it's always like the switch for me is like, I'm like, okay. But Viper, can you talk a bit about like how this has impacted recruiting for you? Because I know you and Donor used to go and just go poach people from Legion. So how has
Yeah,
this
we were
impacted
those
you?
guys that Magic describes so beautifully, but I promise you, we didn't
Disgusting.
force anybody. Listen, you guys also took some of my guys. It's how it works. You give some, you win some, you lose some. That's how it works. For us, it was a huge implication because we used 4th Battalion for all our training, basic training. So to have your VOS 100. Um, to explain what that is, it's a stamp in your military ID that you've passed basic training. So, and I have a very good relationship with 4th Battalion, but more on the Ukrainian side than the instructors. Um, so that immediately was just cancelled. So we had to institute, we had our own brigade, obviously, training facility, but with no translators, no nothing. So it was a huge impact for us. We literally had to move guys from our forward or backward base in the west to our forward training base here overnight. And we literally had to get somebody that can literally, all that he does is translate. He's there for training to translate. That's it. Ukrainian, English speaking, person that is Ukrainian born, so a Ukrainian national. And all that sergeant does is just be there for training and taking guys through the training process. What was nice is we got accredited. So we were accredited. We were one of the few Ukrainian units that could actually train foreigners. So yeah. But the logistics of that and fourth battalion, I don't know what they're now called, but I know that they are reinstituted as a training facility, and we're now reintegrating the basic training with the Legion, well, old fourth battalion, whatever they are called now. But they are licensed, registered, and I mean, most of the guys that goes through that fourth battalion experience for basic training has at least got some level of experience, and then we can build on that specialized training for what the role is going to be from for the person.
Okay.
And I
Um,
can't steal them anymore. Because now how it used to work is you used to go to Verbliani and you could do physical test, and once you pass the physical test, then only you can sign a contract. Now whoever we send to the Legion is already signed. So magic, it's awesome. Nobody can poach nobody's people. They already on a contract signed, so they're already part of your unit, but which means that for 5 to 6 weeks you are paying them, and they're on your unit and they take up space in your company, but they're still in Lviv training. So it's very, very difficult.
so Chris says the fourth battalion is now the 157th International Training Center.
Thank you, Chris.
um, yeah, but it's interesting that you say about the translator, because now it makes sense, because Donor posted on Twitter like, hey, but like in Ukrainian, hey, any Ukrainians, you want to be a translator? Now's your chance. And I was like, that's kind of weird. Why do you need that? Because you speak English, but now I understand. Um, but yeah. Um, Magic, do you think, like looking into this, right? Are there any like specific things that you see, okay, apart from the issue of being forced to become infantry all of a sudden? Apart from that, do you think that there's a like, do you have hope for this in like a, in a way you're like, oh yes, this can work out, or is it more like a, we're screwed, but we're just hanging in there?
I would say it's a train wreck. Like all of us from Mortars, we're breaking our contracts and going elsewhere. We're not sticking around for this, right? Because again, being in the military, you don't react. You're proactive to something happening, right? You make a plan before something happens, right? So once I heard that uh, we were going to the 475th, I made plans for our guys to go elsewhere, right? Because they didn't share any information, and I'm not waiting to open the door to find out what's behind it, right? So they want to play that game, and they want a stupid prize, right? They're very upset that we're all breaking contract and leaving, but again, it comes back to showing the level of professionalism of the higher ups and their part on planning and keeping people informed and walking people through the process of what's taking place. Because again, I'm not saying we're above Ukrainian soldiers, but all of us came here. We volunteered. We spent thousands of dollars to come here and fight. Some of us haven't seen our families for years, right? I haven't seen my family in almost 4 years. Okay, so for me, it was just very disrespectful. It was me also wanting to look out for my soldiers, and not understanding what's going to take place in the 475th. It was just like a train wreck, right? We're going to jump off before it smashes off the rails and off the bridge and into the canyon and explodes, just like in the cartoons. So I don't think in general you'll see a lot of foreigners going to the 475th. As it is, I believe they already have a bad reputation of meat waves and uh, other bad leadership problems that are taking place. So I don't think people are going to be like, yeah, the Legion had its problems, but this place is even worse. Let's go here. Like nobody's going to do that. Now people are going to reach out elsewhere, right? They're going to reach out elsewhere to more vetted teams, more vetted units that utilize their personnel correctly. And for a lot of these guys that were here in the Legion, like including myself, it's not a problem working in difficult places. I've worked in Andrivka, Staromorsk, where we lost a lot of people. It's not a problem going to difficult places, but our lives aren't worthless. If we're going to die for something, it needs to make sense. All right, there needs to be a plan in place, and we need to die because our enemy is just better than us in that situation, not because the higher ups lacked doing their planning, lacked following through in the process of the steps that need to be taken. And unfortunately, in the 475th, that's where the infantry companies from the First Legion are going, and they're still keeping the commanders in place. And unfortunately, like some of the commanders for the First International Legion for Alpha Bravo and Charlie aren't very good, right? When I was working in Andrivka as a platoon commander, I would often go over to the company house where we had all the video camera setups so we could watch troops when they were inserting or leaving position, watch the drone feeds. And I can't tell you how many times I go in there and the company commander would be drinking, he'd be drunk, he'd be sleeping, he wouldn't be doing what he's supposed to be doing. It was too often. I remember one time I dropped my soldiers off with 92nd Brigade to go insert into position, and I go back to the company house, and these fucking people are watching a movie on the big screen. I start yelling at them. I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm like, "Is it fucking movie time?" When people are going to Andrivka, I mean, as far as I know, Andrivka has been, one of the biggest hellholes in Ukraine, and they want to watch fucking movie time while guys are inserting.
What the
So
fuck?
for me, also seeing that the higher ups didn't solve the problems that we've already outlined and complained about previously, and they've just moved it elsewhere. We're like, yeah, that's just an absolute train wreck, like complete disregard for the original problems, and they're just moving them elsewhere. It's like when you have dirty clothes, you have people coming over, you just fucking throw them in the closet or something. You throw your mess in there. It's there for later. It's still there. So, I mean, I think a lot of people are going to be speaking out about like the conditions and going elsewhere and telling people to stay clear of that. Stay clear of that place.
Mhm.
I stayed in the Legion. I know Viper didn't like the Legion, but I stayed there because, again, it's where you feel comfortable. It's where you feel at home is where you stay. And I believe the Legion could be built into something that was, respectable eventually. It was still in its infancy. It was very young. It was only a few years old. And, yeah, so just me personally, like I have no problem at this point going forward speaking up of the issues, right? Because the operational security matter is over and done with, right? We're off position, we're out of the Legion, it's all done for. So, like Viper was saying, like most of you were saying here, you really have to decide where you're going because your life is at stake. Right? You don't want to wind up in some meat wave reconnaissance unit where you're going to go out on one mission and get killed. So yeah, so for us, it was a complete shock with what was happening with the Legion and where people were getting placed because it showed that nobody really did any planning or any thought process onto it. I go, okay, you guys have all this experience. Okay, you're going to this position, right? For us personally, like to make a mortarman adequate, it takes at least probably like 6 months or even longer, right? Because I have to take them out there to position, I have to show them how to build positions on the front line, not in training, but actually on the front line, how to set the mortars positions, how to set the gun up, how to get everything situated, how to respond to counter battery, right? And then to take all those soldiers that were professionally trained and are actually very fast on a mortar system and then send them to the infantry. Well, it outlines an even bigger problem. The other day, I was at the HQ signing my paperwork to break my contract finally, and one of the officers there was like, "Oh, that's normal. Yeah, in Ukraine, besides maybe like officers and drones, people get thrown around all over the place." I'm like, I see the whole picture. I see the whole entire issue that's taking place. Is Ukraine is like, oh, that's how it was. That's how it should be. That's how it can be.
Mhm.
But if we don't adapt, if we don't observe the problem, adapt to it, and overcome, we're never going to accomplish anything. Just because that's how you were doing it doesn't mean that is the right way to do something. Right? When I was in the Marine Corps, I was an infantry mortarman, and guess what? That was my job the whole entire time because that was my specialty, right? So I'm just saying Ukraine needs to figure their situation out and maybe understand that they shouldn't be moving people around from position to position to different jobs, whether it's foreigners or Ukrainians, right? Even when we're working on the front line, I can't tell you how many times like I've heard of Ukrainian mortars getting sent to the zero line and then they get murdered, they get killed, and then like we have no more mortarmen left. Well, yeah, because you killed them all. So of course you have nobody to rotate your positions to do any work on the front line because you killed them. And you can't just pull a new guy out and be like, hey, run this mortar system and use it. It requires a lot of training to use it adequately and effectively, right? Just one example, really quick. If you have a team of like 6 Russians and there's a set of crossroads, right? and somebody calls for fire support. Hey, there's Russians that are approaching these crossroads and we need to kill them. We need to hit them. You have a certain amount of time to fire and hit those crossroads, because if you hit them too late, they've already crossed. They've already made it across, and you're not going to kill them, right? So if you have new mortarmen, they're probably not going to be fast enough to do that job, right? So again, then you have that revolving door. Oh, they're doing a poor job. Let's send them to the infantry instead. It's just rinse and repeat. So yeah, just a lot of issues with poor souls getting sent to the 475th. Unfortunately, I know some people have decided to go forward with going to the 475th, but those of us that value our lives and want to fight and not die in the first mission with these guys, we're going elsewhere where our skills can be more utilized appropriately.
Yeah. I'm honestly still shocked by the people watching a movie thing. Like, I'm still shocked by that. Um, Question from Keith. Do you think the appointment of Fedorov and the reforms he spoke about will help these issues? Or do you think it's going to be more a thing of like, you'll see it once it happens? Or like,
I mean, we've gone through reforms before, right? And my saying here in Ukraine is I'll fucking believe it when I see it. Because I can't tell how many times they're like, we're going to get these weapons, we're going to get these vehicles, we're going to get this, we're going to get that. And guess what? I haven't fucking seen any of it. I've never seen any of it come to fruition. A lot of stuff is just talk. It's talk about this is what we're going to do, this is what is going to happen, blah, 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 blah. Right? But you never see anything come to fruition. We went to reformation before, and it was an absolute clusterfuck of a nightmare. Right? We would have been better off just staying on the front line, continuing to work, continuing to get more people, and then continue to function. Right? Uh, I can't understand what reform is going to happen next. Okay, so you transferred people to 475th. Are you going to send them back to the training center again to restructure, reformat? What are you going to change? Because the thing that needs to be reformatted is the leadership, right? The Legion, the 475th, whatever is going to be in charge of it, they need really good Ukrainian leadership. So I'm sorry to tell you, but Westerners cannot be in leadership positions. And that is also something that probably needs to be reformed. Fedorov, I think he's a smart young guy, right? But I think even he was exhausted with what was taking place in the Legion. You only have so much of like morale until you get beaten into the dirt. If you're not one of the Soviet officers, they're going to beat you into the ground until you turn into one. Like they're going to say, this is the way we do things. This is the way you have to do things. I can't tell any Ukrainian officers I've spoken to. They say the good officers get sent to their deaths. Like if you do like a good job and you're thinking outside the box, they don't like that. Nobody likes that, right? And the easiest way is just to remove that person, send them to infantry as a platoon commander or company commander, send them out to the front line and remove them. But again, if there's some kind of reformation that's taking place, it needs to be on paper. People need to have clear understanding of what's taking place. And just with the restructuring of us moving to the 475th, nothing was shared. There was no information sharing whatsoever. Nobody has any clue what's taking place. None whatsoever. So if people can't even do simple planning when it comes to that, or even missions going on to the front line, how the fuck can you plan to reformat something when that's even something that's even a higher skill level? I can't tell how many times I would sit there and give ideas for mission planning and whatnot, and Ukrainians would look at me like I had 10 heads, or like they'd go blank in the face with like, what are you talking about? I just have to sit here and just think like, fuck, like it's not that trivial. It's very simple. Mission planning is the guts, and it's something that every single person in the military should have some basic level of understanding. But I think it's very easy for higher ups that aren't getting sent to the front line to just sit back in the coffee shop, be like, this sounds great on paper, but in all actuality, it doesn't accomplish much of anything. We don't need just words from the higher ups anymore. We need action, right? People need to see actual action taking place. And keeping company commanders and troublesome HQ personnel that don't do paperwork accordingly, you can start with removing them and showing people that you mean business.
Yeah. Viper, do you have anything?
My situation is quite different. So the thing is, for us, it's better now because our battalion commander is actually went to our become our brigade commander and is now in Corpus. So it helps us a lot because he understands how we work, how we plan missions, how what our capabilities are, what are not our capabilities. Um, so I think a direct correlation of that is being what almost almost 2 years now on the front line fighting and only lose 6 people. It's because of that, because of the communication, because of command understanding that we've we've got people that has got way more experience in war than them. I mean, like I've got 11 years of combat experience. So if you tell me that, hey, this is the Ukrainian way, I'm going to tell you, sorry for the words, you can go fuck yourself. It's not going to work. And if I say that in the beginning, it was difficult, but I mean, it was, and we would have gone on one of their planned missions, and it would have been a total clusterfuck. And then eventually they would turn around and say, okay, shit, okay, we should have listened to you. And you build that respect. The thing is, you can never build that respect if you're not part of a brigade and the brigade is actually know what you do as a unit, what your capabilities are. I think with us being with 42nd so long, I mean, we've been with them since CVR, oh, way back, 2023. That gave us as senior command a better idea and better understanding towards the battalion, but also the brigade. And I think if that three aligns, you've got a winning recipe, and that's why our casualty and 200 rate. Well, our casualty ratings are still quite high, but I mean 200s. That's why we can talk about a number like that. It's purely because it works. And we try
Yeah.
and not change that, Jana. That's the thing. I mean, that's my. He's speaking about what we call Ukrainian bureaucracy. That is my job, day in day out, to fight. That's when I wake up, I start fighting and swearing. And when I put my head down, sometimes you can ask my wife. I even swear in my dreams because that's how angry I am. So I mean, and it's something that you need to continuously fight. And where they step out of line because it happens, you say, no, no, this is not going to work. Step back. Let's reevaluate and let's see. This is not going to work.
Only you will be like, I'm going to tell command what they're doing and like, hey guys, not
So
gonna work.
show me any of the Ukrainians that's got 11 years combat experience, which 6 years of that is in Africa.
Got
It's
it.
not
But
there. So
no, but I think the thing is, I think you've been with him for very long and you've worked on building that relationship and that rapport with
the
him.
trust, that's the thing. The
Yeah.
trust is there. It's the funniest thing. My guys went on a clearance mission, one of my teams, and they ran into a Ukrainian drone position and asked, "Listen, where's the coordinates? Because it's not corresponding of what we've got on our tablets." And the drone guy said to him, "No, but it wasn't our unit; it was another battalion." And they're like, "No, we cannot tell you where you are." And they're like, "Listen, we need to clear. So do you want us to clear this area or not?" And eventually, but we could jump in and say from a command structure, battalion commander structure, hey, sort this out. And I mean, 5 minutes later it was sorted. And it's that type of correspondence, that type of clarity. I mean, speaking, and I can hear what Magic says, missions was planned for them. The thing is, for us, is what's nice is we plan our own missions. We go to command and we lay it down. They will say, this is the concerns of this mission, this is what we're happy with, this is what we're not happy with, and we restructure and we could get to a agreement before the guys go out. But also, my guys has got the fullest of view. I mean, he's talking about the guy watching movies in Adivka. I can sit at home and log in, and I mean that's something as a foreigner that is not very easy to get. But I can log in and I can see what my commands is seeing, so I know exactly where my guys are, where the movements are, what is happening. And I mean, from there, we can speak to one of our positions that's got a Starlink and we can communicate. And I mean, that clarity of communication is what saves lives at the end of the day. My opinion.
I feel like this has turned into a recruitment stream for the 42nd.
No, we good. We good. We don't have a problem with recruitment at the moment. But as Magic said, you get your ups and downs. We just came through winter, and I always say the best soldiers comes in winter because at -15 on the training grounds, sleeping in a bondage, you learn what Ukraine is really. It's not all the nice things that you think it is. It's cold, it's miserable, and it's not nice. So
Yeah. Rachel, from your side, and something we touched on a bit earlier, but um, do you find yourself almost in a position where donors contact you for clarity? I'm
Yeah.
assuming yes, because you had a whole space about this on Twitter. Um, but
Yes.
yeah,
So, I mean, as Magic well knows, people contact me for anything and everything, especially if it's related to foreigners in Ukraine. They contact me, but I can see why they do because it is confusing, um, and it's confusing people trying to come here. And if you're trying to support foreigners here, especially, it's super confusing, especially because half the legion is disbanded, and there's still an existing legion that is still going and still talked about, but in the same vernacular. So yeah, they definitely do contact us. One thing from the supply side as well, and this is something that I'm not sure how many people actually have eyes on. So, if most supplies, when you get them from an NGO or from a volunteer group, or if they're issued, they go to a brigade. They're put on the paperwork they issue from the brigade. So if you have whole teams that are now transferring over to a different division, they don't take those supplies with them. They're going without everything. They do take some of the PAV equipment. I know Magic's headed over with some things that we provided. That's, to my knowledge, that's kind of a unique situation. That's not happening. That does present a problem then if you've got entire teams that are thinking this is not right for us. We can be of better use to Ukraine elsewhere. We can be more likely to survive elsewhere. Well, the calculation you make, though, is, well, how do you survive if you go somewhere else? You don't have vehicles, you don't have MPGs, you don't have power stations, you don't have any of the things you need for any new brigade that's accepting you. That's something that they need to think about, too, of taking on new people and what are the supplies that they have. This is something that happens for foreigners a lot. Of foreigners are far more likely to be transferring around to different divisions, even just different divisions of the military, than are Ukrainians. There's a lot of reasons for this. One reason I think is the dysfunction of the Legion from the start. Of people decided there's probably a better place for you to go. There's also, it's very regular for brigades to take foreigners and then decide after a while, actually, we don't want to take foreigners. So 1st Separate Assault Brigade, for example, did have a foreigner division. They closed that. The 66th had one. They closed that. And so you have people transferring all over the place. That means when they go somewhere else new, they're constantly asking for some kind of support for them. That is something to consider, is if you are donating, or if you're an NGO, or you're somebody supplying the foreign teams, you have to consider, hey, what happens to the equipment if the entire team needs to leave? Not because they want to, but just because structurally that happens to them. It's a thing to think about, that if you're actually trying to supply this group of people because of their skill set, how do they take the equipment with them when they go?
yeah. I have a follow-up question. I do just want to say thank you for donations. We had one from Rhonda for $20. Thank you very much. Daryl, $75. Thank you. Daryl, you donated twice. You donated $75 and $100. Were both of those intentional? If not, please let me know, and then I'll refund whichever one you want refunded.
hopefully the
Then
$75, yeah.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
No. Papa donated 10 euros. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
David bought us 3 coffees. Thank you so much. And then Julie donated £10. So thank you guys. We actually, I'm
Just
so, yeah, go
before you
ahead.
carry on to what Rachel said, it's very important, guys, when donations is done, that you donate to either a company or a soldier, because you can donate to the soldier directly, or you can donate
That
it
was
to
my
the
follow-up
brigade.
point.
Because things like vehicles, I mean, it's difficult. It's not difficult, but there's a lot of movement of foreigners to different units. So you will have an influx of vehicles in the one unit, like we in a very shit area. So vehicles is something we lose on a weekly basis. But at the end of the day, things like MVGs, things like if it's a drone team, if you donate a drone, you don't have to donate it to the battalion. You can donate it to that soldier. And I promise you, wherever he's going, and we pay it forward. Most of the soldiers that I know pays it forward. When they're done eventually and they're gutful for Ukraine, they go home and they take that equipment and they give it to the guys that are in the unit if they're happy with the unit. I mean, like, I've got guys giving magazines, equipment, plate carriers. We keep it, and if there's a new guy in that size, we give it, donate it to that guy. MVGs, for instance, it's a very very difficult thing. I mean, Jana knows they helped us with MVGs, but
It's expensive.
we lost
Super
6
expensive.
in the last couple of months. And it's something which is not it's a very expensive ticket item, and it's not something that uh, most of the units get a lot of. And I can tell you because Material Sergeant always looks at me with wide eyes. Can you please see if you can help us with MVGs? Because and you can imagine, and there's a video on Project Constantine of me actually showing you what the MVG looks like. But go switch off everything in your room, close all your curtains, and try and walk in a room that you don't know. That is from a guy that needs to move without MVG at night. It is very dangerous and it's very difficult. So MVGs, guys. Sometimes guys ask for like whole sun thermal or night vision scope. Donate it to the soldier. Do not donate it to the brigade, because if if that guy leaves, or if a group leaves, or if the whole company leaves, the brigade gets that equipment. It's on their balance sheet and they can use it wherever and however they want. That's why we sometimes seen the best place for a NAFO truck is actually in Odessa.
My word. Yeah, so that's actually a conversation Rachel and I had a while ago, where I think people didn't know they could donate directly to a soldier. But I know, like, we do it at Project Constant. I know PAV does it. And what's interesting, like, the way it worked with us with PK is when Pete was still alive and he was in the 67th, we were working with the 67th, and then they got, they went from separate to becoming, like, they went from volunteer corps to being proper part of, integrated into ZSU. And suddenly all of the equipment that PK had been donating got redistributed, because we knew the people in the battalion, and they just got all the, like, generators, everything got redistributed. So, Rachel, can you elaborate on that a bit more? Because what I want to tell you guys is also, when it comes to us donating to a soldier directly, Rachel and I, we have people who check them out. Like, we've got Viper here. Rachel has her connections. We're not just like, oh yes, let's help someone. We have people who can look it up. Those of you who are not new, you'll know Jana. I will sometimes phone Jana. I'll be like, hey, what do you know of this unit? What do you know of these guys? But in that case, you have, like, don't be like, a soldier DM'd me on Twitter and I need to send him money. Okay, don't do that.
Please don't do that. Yeah.
But yeah, Rachel, can you talk a bit about that from your experience, and also
Sorry,
about
unless
okay.
unless he gives you access to his OnlyFans, then you can donate. Yeah.
That's a whole
Um,
different thing. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, Rachel, can you elaborate on that a bit, and also maybe a bit about the vetting process and why it is important for people to understand that we all do proper vetting?
Yeah. So let me explain. The risk if you put things on the brigade on the books, the risk is that the people on the ground won't actually see it, or if they move, that they can't take it with them, and that's actually real. It happens all the time. The risk if you give it to an individual soldier is, well, what if you get a dishonest person? They just decide to sell this equipment, or they decide immediately after to going home. And I will say, first of all, you cannot prevent against this 100% because you can't predict the future, and you can't predict every single human being. What you can do to control for it, though, is you need to make sure if you're donating that you're working with an organization that is vetting, or that you're doing it yourself, which honestly I would not recommend to do if you have not been to Ukraine and don't have connections here, how to do it. But the people who are the lowest risk to donate to, first of all, team leaders. You want it to go into the hands of somebody who is in leadership and who people trust to be in leadership. These would be people who have been here long term as a foreigner, probably since 2022, 2023. Um, if they're married to a Ukrainian, or if they're in a long term relationship with the Ukrainian, they're not going anywhere. Then, I'm sure, somebody who's been here as long as Magic, it's not like he's going to decide tomorrow, you know what, I'm done with this. Like, I'm headed home now.
I enjoy the drama, Rachel. I love it.
The drama is
I'm
the
here
best
for the
part.
plot.
Yeah. Do you realize, like, I'm like the entertainment for a lot of foreign fighters of like, what crazy person yelled at Rachel now? Like, this is like our daily entertainment of what happened. People try to figure out how that even happened.
Oh,
Yeah.
and you've got a lot of content for that. So
Oh, tons of content. Like, sometimes like I actually just met with somebody the other day, and he was just like, "Give me the update. I need to know like what's now. Like, what's Bradley Crawford up to now?" Yeah. It's I lost my train of thought. Okay.
vetting.
Yeah, they're not going anywhere. So you need to know how long they've been here. You need to do reputational vetting as well, is this thing. So it's not perfect, but in general, if you're a foreigner and you're fighting here, you have for the most part, you have the reputation you deserve. There are false things that come up, like yeah, it does happen. But if in general people you've served with have been like, you know what, he's a solid person. Like, I liked working with him. There were no issues. That's a person you can usually trust with equipment. People who steal equipment, people, they tend to get that reputation for a reason. But you have to look at it in terms of evidence as well as the number of people are saying it. Do they have any proof? So these are some actual things, I'm always checking of what people do. And I have people who fought here long-term who help me check it. And I get ridiculous things sometimes. I get like, oh, don't help that guy. His girlfriend is ugly. Don't help that guy. Some stupid fight they have. And like, so disregard anything that's interpersonal drama or personality, or it's like, oh, I like to, he's my friend. Okay, well, who cares that he's your friend? What you want to know is, are they good at their job? Do they take it seriously? Are they actively working? Are there any serious allegations of theft? One thing to keep in mind as well is that when it comes to theft of equipment, ask them what happened. Sometimes there are cases where it's like, oh, actually, what really happened is somebody in the team was killed, and then it's legally their possessions will belong to their family, but there's all kinds of military equipment that families really don't want and can't even legally leave Ukraine, and then it becomes kind of a free-for-all of who should take that. Those cases, I don't even know how you would figure out who's entitled to that equipment. But basically,
Well, can I help there?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when a soldier dies on the front line, all his equipment is held by the company. Only his personal effects are sent to the family, and all of the rest of the equipment becomes the company's
Yes.
the company's equipment.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where sometimes people fight over who gets to use what. But in general, though, basically, there are plenty of people you can help in this country who, when you check, they will have a sterling reputation of that person works really hard. They're a great soldier. They've been here long term. There's no reason why you can't even stick to just that A+ gold star rating.
I think
Or
like
people,
sorry, 70% of the vetting. If he's longer, if he just sends you a copy of his Viscoli, and you can see he's been in okay. Well, sometimes the Legion doesn't give Viscolis, but joking. 2 years. If he's been here 2 years or longer, I can tell you now. One, is not a bullshitter normally, but then please also ask him to send you a Form 6, which means where did he fight? Because there's some very strong soldiers in Ternopil, and it's very dangerous there. Um,
Once yourself.
with
Also, I I think you got to check more than that though. If they bounce around units, that's a red
yes,
flag.
a very,
Um,
very big red flag.
yes, transferring once could be. Lots of people have transferred once. If it's more than
But
that though, if they're bouncing all the time, that is a giant red flag.
in your green book, it will actually say which units have you been in. So
Mhm,
if he's been here 2 years and he's got like 50 different unit A
mhm.
codes, then you should know this guy. I don't know when he was fighting, but he was transferring a lot. So
Also, so there's reason for soldiers. They're not just gonna let a random NAFO cartoon dog on the internet check their records. They shouldn't do that. However,
yeah,
if they're asking for help from an NGO, their green books exist to be checked, and
yeah,
Form 6 exists to be checked. So anybody who says something like, "Oh, I can't tell you what team I'm on. That's OPSEC. It's super
that's
secret."
bullshit.
That is bullshit. That is absolute bullshit. There are teams
Because
that are
yeah,
like they can't
the
show it.
only I
They're
can
not
help you
asking for
guys
help
there.
though.
The only team that they will not tell you is if they're Ukrainian Gur. But then again,
Yeah,
they're not going to ask you for help because I can tell you they've got the best equipment in the country.
exactly.
So
This is the thing. There are people who cannot share anything at all about what they do or what they're up to. Those people, though, are not. They would not be approaching you for help. They don't need it. Um, there's also even when there's some people that I meet in person where we talk in person about what it is that they need. But anybody who tells you, I can't tell you what I do. It's OPSEC. Run the other direction. This happens to me in the Ukraine all the time too, where they're always like, "Oh, I can't tell you like what I'm up to." And every single time, it turns out they're not on a team. Every single time, if they won't tell you.
oh, and sorry if they're SPU, but SPU will come and knock on your door. Not you don't knock on their door.
If they're if they're SBU, they've got ways to like they're okay. They're doing fine.
Um, so, thank you,
Yeah,
Giancarlo, for the
just a
$12.24. Yeah, sorry.
quick one. Chris has been trying Winters. Just been
Yeah,
trying it.
that's what I want to
Okay, so
ask
we
now.
can have a
Okay,
chat
can I? No,
about
no,
that.
wait.
Mhm.
Okay. Do you think now with the new dual citizenship law and citizenship offer after 1 year of contract, would that qualify a bunch of foreigners for leadership to help there?
Okay, can I jump in, or Magic? You want to jump
Yeah,
in?
tell us about
Yeah,
your
you can
fun
go ahead
story of
first,
getting
Viper.
citizenship.
Okay, so citizenship. Yeah, I've been fighting for 2.5 years. For some odd reason, they don't like South Africans. But anyway, the problem with well, there's not a problem. Yes, we were actually part of the reason why it's been changed to 1 year. Because how it works currently is you need to serve 3 years, one contract, which means that you couldn't go home, you couldn't come back, nothing. It was one contract. Now they've made it 12 months. So I can tell you now, from my perspective, it's yes, there will be a lot of foreigners that qualify, and yes, it will open the doors becoming an officer. But you can already become an officer as a foreigner, by the way. It's just not easy. I mean, like for me, it was very difficult. It took a very long time, and for me, I was sent to the UK for 6 weeks for program for office. Well, becoming an NCO, and I can tell you that I was the only foreigner out of all the Ukrainians there. So it's extremely difficult. It's not that easy. The other thing is for you to be able to fluently speak the language, because you cannot be an officer or commander if you are not fluent in the language, because they are not going to try and help you to be a commander unless you've got an interpreter 24 hours 7 days a week with you. We do have interpreters in our company, which a lot of times interpret. But I mean, it's very difficult. I mean, even for me, speaking to my company commander um, on a daily basis is difficult. But I mean, we've learned he's swearing in Ukrainian and I'm swearing in English, and we get to the point. And we're now at a point where we don't really need an interpreter anymore. But it's something that takes a very long time. And yes, I had a laugh because my previous battalion commander said to me, if only you were Ukrainian, you would have had a way better rank. But at the end of the day, I'm not. So, but having a Ukrainian passport, I don't think is going to open all the doors. You need to be able to speak the language fluently, and that will help you a lot.
Yeah, Magic.
Yeah, so about the whole officers program, right? I think for just about well over a year, foreigners have been able to become officers in the Ukraine military. But I don't think anybody wants Westerners to be in charge in this military, right? In general, I've seen even Ukrainians come to the Legion with zero experience and they get put in positions of leadership, even as being just sergeants and whatnot, over foreigners, right? So, in general, the Ukrainians are more trusted than foreigners are for these positions. And it's not the first time that a lot of things have existed on paper for foreigners, but haven't actually
Yeah.
existed. Right. It's been a lot. I mean, since I've been here, there's been a lot of different things, right? Even we can go back to Zelensky saying that foreigners will be afforded all the same rights in Ukraine as Ukrainian citizens, but that's not the case, right? We don't have the D app, we don't have the Army app, we can't get a
Please
fucking,
do not.
you know,
I'm gonna just start swearing now. You're gonna make me angry.
right? We can get a
I
gun
can't
license, but
even
that's
register.
ridiculously
I can buy
difficult.
a. I can't buy a car, or I can buy a car. I can pay for it, but I can't
Yeah,
put it on my name. It needs to be on my
exactly,
wife's. I
exactly,
can not have a
right?
driver's license. Um, it took me like a year to fight with Prefa to just put my address where I've been staying on my banking app, so that I
It's
can actually show I've got a home. Hello. So, but I honestly think also for good reason. There's a flip side of the coin because there is also some shit foreigners which I didn't want to give Ukrainian citizenship, and so there's a flip side. I mean, they also need to protect their interests um, as they protect the foreigners. And yes, Magic is correct. It's very difficult as a foreigner. Really, it is. I
you're the
mean,
bastard
I
child.
yeah, bastard child. The red-haired bastard child that they don't
Yeah.
want. But at the end of the day, it makes it interesting for us, and I like it. I mean, there's nothing better than to show a Ukrainian that hey, I can do something you can't do, and I love doing that. It's my favorite pastime. That's why I'm still in the ZSU.
Yeah,
Just so you can give people shit.
I, I think one of the issues that I see though is that like okay, so they had the citizenship application at 3 years. So technically, if somebody's probably been here for 3 years working consistently, chances are they're probably not a shitbag, unless of course they're part of the Lviv
Yeah.
warrior squadron that somehow gets around, or they've been working at Turnipol for their whole entire lifespan. Um, so, like, I think there is a lot of good foreigners that would make really good leaders,
Yeah.
guys that weren't even in previous
Yeah.
military positions, but came here and learned the tide of the war on their own. People that have previous military experience that came here and excelled at what they've done. And it's difficult to even sometimes see them get leadership positions, let alone a chance to go to officer schooling. I wouldn't say that all the problems here would be solved by getting foreign
Mhm.
officers, because again, I think there'd need to be a very big vetting process. Because I've gotten people here from different militaries in general, and like their brain breaks with how like things function here. You try and tell them what it's like on the front line and what's actually happening, and they don't understand it. Like if you get injured, no fucking Blackhawk is coming within an hour to pick you up, buddy. You better fucking understand first aid and you better start crawling because nobody else is getting you out of here, right? And there's probably not even a plan in place to get you out of there, right? A lot of plans come together on the fly. In a lot of foreign militaries, it doesn't work like that. You plan everything prior to, you put everything together, and then you function. You do the operation. So I've seen a lot of people that were officers previously come here, like captains, lieutenant colonels, people pretty high up. And when I first came here, I respected them heavily. Like I relied on their knowledge. But then I started to understand that their brain doesn't function the way it should here necessarily. Like they're not understanding how this war actually functions. So I'd probably be a little scared seeing these people operate as officers if they're not able to adapt to the new environment that they're in. But people that have been here for 2, 3 years and have proven themselves, they understand what it's like to fight the Russians, what it takes to do a successful operation on the front line, continue with low casualties if possible. Give these guys a chance to go to officer schooling and maybe try and build up a unit that has foreign officers. Again, yes, Ukrainian is one of the challenges, of course, of an officer schooling, but maybe also try and provide classes. Like people are like, have you been here for almost 4 years and you don't speak it? I'm like, fuck, do you know most Ukrainians speak Surgic? Like they speak Russian and Ukrainian in the same fucking sentence? Like I can pick up words, but when people start speaking two different fucking languages in the same sentence, I'm like, my mind is blown. So like, no, I can't learn Russian and Ukrainian at the same time. If we had more downtime, yes, of course, people would probably take Ukrainian classes and they would learn. They'd be completely fluent after a few years. But the reality of it is, when a lot of us aren't working on the front line, we're unfucking our minds. We're figuring out what needs to be done, what supplies we're lacking. Okay, we need to go recruit new people. We need to get this done. We need to get that done. Like, I can't tell you, my mind's never really in the place. Like, sometimes I get a Duolingo streak for fucking, if I'm lucky, like 5 days. And then, 2 months go by and it's like, are you there still? And I'm like, okay, I'll log in for 10 minutes. I'll do it again.
Yeah, just to try to explain it, guys. From May until now, I've put 27,000 miles on my vehicle, which means that we drive. I mean, I can promise you, it's not driving like for casual. It's, listen, you need to be there to sort out these guys. Then, I mean, you just never stop. It never stops. And oh, this guy has had this problem and that, and it's just continuous. It's continuous. It doesn't stop day in and day out.
I mean, my whole day is just like, what now?
I do have a question in chat that made me chuckle a bit. It's from Yasuke, who says, "Is Protect a Volunteer a PMC or an NGO?" Is Protect a Volunteer a PMC or an NGO? But I mean, you are the godmother, right? Remember, you have your thugs running around Kiev, beating people up.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
we're an NGO. We provide support with flights and gear for foreigners and some Ukrainians who are fighting for Ukraine. I think the only difference between us and other NGOs is that we help with flights, which we're only doing that. And then secondly, we're helping more on the individual level for individual volunteers than we are at the brigade level. So it's a slightly bit different functioning. And we do that because of the challenge of working with foreigners. So PMC will mean that we are doing actual military operations ourselves, which we definitely do not do, nor are we qualified to do that in any way. The reason it says commander here is that's a joke.
Explain the joke to people, Rachel.
Sure. So, we there's another person who likes to call himself commander, even though he's not in the military here, but he's allegedly training. And I think this is a thing that a lot of people come here and do. They give themselves some title or come up with something. The reason I'm making a joke of it, though, is we need to be clear of who is military and who's not. If you are in the Ukrainian military, you sign a contract and you follow orders and you are subject to command. If you are not in the Ukrainian military and you're doing what I do and you're a civilian volunteer and you are supporting the military, your work is very essential, it's valuable, but we are civilians and we shouldn't be running around in camo. We are not subject to command. There's a limit to what we can do. There's a limit to what information we get. It's just a different role. And so this is when I saw that magic was going to be janitorial staff. I was like, okay, fine. If we're having fun with this, then I'll be commander.
I just also want to say thank you to Colin for £100. And
just to quickly answer Liam Wakefield's what? No Apaches? Yeah, the closest we're going to get is a vampire maybe dropping a bottle of water if you're injured. That's it.
So I just want to bring this the officers program full circle. Remember when we talked about Federiv reforming and things being on paper and actually coming to fruition? Again, the whole officers program, it's on paper. Okay, it may look good on paper, but nothing has come to fruition as far as I'm concerned when it comes to that. Right? It may sound good, but it's not real.
Yeah, it's the same, and that 8 months with America promising us, but the rounds
Yeah.
didn't come. It wasn't. Yeah, I at a point there I said, listen, it's very easy. Once I hold it in my hands, I know it's here. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I don't believe shit.
Oh my goodness. So, are there any questions I missed on chat? Oh, okay. Yasuke says, but then you actually earned the title of commander, I think. What, when you're military? Or
The Iron
rage?
the title of commander.
When you're
What?
Rachel, you're in the title of commander.
Yeah. Rachel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris,
Um,
can I answer Chris's question?
Yes,
Because
about it.
I'm
Okay, so let me
I'm an
just read the
expert on that.
Wach. So the question is, do you think they at least move ahead with the citizenship? Asking because that's one of my main motivators. Okay, now you can go.
So I've submitted for the fourth time my Ukrainian citizenship paperwork today to this special. The law was changed, but how it works in Ukraine is laws are there, but guess what? There's no actual way of doing it.
They're
so
there.
so
They're
it's
there.
very nice to say. I'm applying for citizenship based on law 4501 of 1996, and then they're like, but we don't know how to do this. So, and I get that a lot. I mean, so Chris, I will tell you probably in the next 5 years if I get it, and if I get it, I will show you that I've got a passport. So we'll see. I don't know.
Like they say, wish in one hand and shit in the other, and tell me which one fills up first, buddy.
One thing is, I would be careful of counting on anything here. Really,
You don't have any expectations.
yeah, don't have
Don't
don't have
believe in you.
expectations.
Don't
and-
believe a damn thing.
Especially warm beds and hot showers. That expectation you should leave
Yeah.
in your first world country before you come here.
Heat, electricity, you're not guaranteed those.
A
Yeah,
decent
sorry.
toilet, also not.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, you can go out back
what
and dig your
else?
own.
Mhm.
Yep. Just yeah, so it's very interesting. But you know what? My fondest memories is all those struggles that we go through. I mean, you build character and
You just do it
guys,
for the
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
You do it for the
You
plot,
do it-
buddy.
Yeah,
You do it for the
sure.
campfire stories when you're 6 years old and you're going to hear some crazy fucking shit.
Mhm. People don't know. Like when I try and tell people stories, they're just like, "There's no way they could possibly be real." Then I show them the video, and then they
Yeah.
don't even know what.
Yeah.
So, Magic, there's a question from other Chris here about your interview that you had with Keith Independent, where he asked, have you experienced difficulties like Spivka from second after your interview with Keith Independent?
Like backlash.
Like, is command giving you shit because you spoke openly?
No, I haven't heard any complaints yet, but I'm sure that's probably going to come down the line eventually at some point. Somebody's going to complain, but again, I feel like also at the same time, I've earned some respect of some individuals because I have actually been fighting here for over 3 years, almost 4 years. So to me, I tell these people, I've earned my right to speak. I've earned my right to say what I believe the issues are and what's taking place. And I'm sorry, I don't come from a place where I believe that problems should be hidden under the carpet, right? I believe in transparency. I believe in bringing things to the light. Kiev Independent asked me if I wanted to be anonymous or they wanted to use my call sign. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. You can use my call sign. I stand by my word and whatever I said. If they want to imprison me, throw me in jail, fucking, get retribution, by all means. I came here to fight an injustice that the Russians were committing against Ukraine, and that doesn't give Ukraine the freedom to commit injustices against, the foreign fighters that are here fighting as well. So I'll speak up about that as well. It's an injustice. It's a wrong that needs to be righted. So I have no problem sacrificing myself on the fucking podium for the rest of the foreigners and Ukrainians that are too scared to speak up with their name.
I think in a way, um, and I've spoken to Viper about this in the past. There's almost like this type of, um, I want to say you guys are almost like in a, I don't want to say a privileged position because it sounds weird to say like you're in a privileged position, but with you guys being like able to switch, like Titsuka is not going to come knock on your door or anything. You're there, you're because you want to be. So if you're not happy in a space, I mean, but if you're not happy in a space, you can move. And I think a lot of Ukrainians do not have that
They do.
luxury.
What are
So
you talking
I think
about?
also,
They get AWOL, they get put on reserve, but they get put on the reserve battalion and then they get assigned to some or other midway assault group. But I mean, it's also not that easy for foreigners to move. If you after your 6 months,
mm,
yes, then you can. But remember, Jan, again, to move a soldier, and this is sometimes a misconception. You can just decide, okay, tomorrow I want to be 93rd. No, it doesn't work that way. Both commanders needs to agree to your transfer. That transfer is then sent to ground forces of Ukraine in Kiev, where somebody assesses and sign it off. So that process sometimes can take a month, month and a half, 2 months.
Yeah, that could
yeah,
be a long time, right?
I
If you
think,
off,
yeah, if you're in a shitty
sorry,
place and you're like, cool, just survive for 2 months, but you're like
you
in a thing
laugh,
where
you laugh
in a
about
unit
it.
with,
I had an Italian friend of
I know,
mine that phoned me and said, "Listen, these guys are going to send me to die. Can you get me out of here?" And I mean, we pulled strings as much as I can possibly pull, and we did get him out of there. And yes, he
Well,
was still alive. But it's
well,
difficult. It's not that easy.
well, I want to speak on that, right? Because I've been wronged here personally. I've been under contract for over 3 years, and because the higher ups didn't give us like proper timing of like, hey, this is what's going to happen in the next 6 months. Not even I have had the correct amount of time to transfer to a different unit. Right? If I
Mm.
started that process, it could take anywhere from 2 months, 6 months, depending on the unit I want to go to. So now I'm being bullied into breaking my contract just so I can go to a unit that I want to work in, even though I've
I
made it my
understand.
life's mission here
Magic,
to be
I
under
understand.
contract entirely without breaking. You know what I mean? Like I've never broke my contract, not a single time. I've extended it even. I went there and
Mm,
made sure I signed a new contract with an extension on it.
mm.
So like for me, it's just unfortunate because I don't want to have to break my military service to go to a different place just because it could
I
take
agree.
2 months to 6 months. And I'm not playing the electric boogaloo boys as the machine gunner for the 475th going out there
we've
with
got
a
a
bunch
mas-
of
we've got a
conscripts.
machine gun position open if you're interested. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like
I
I can't
promise
tell
you,
you.
I'll give you a mini me. I won't even give you
Yeah,
a FMG.
yeah, buddy. You can give me mini me. You can give me PVS 31s. Perfect, no problem. But my thing is like I asked the commander. I was like, so you want to send me as a machine gun to the 475th, and it's gonna be all Ukrainians. I'm not gonna speak English, and you just want me to go by partially divide, fucking, how are we supposed to work? What are we supposed to do? I mean, okay, perfect, great idea. And you want to work with conscripts. I mean, even when we worked in Andrivka with the 92nd Brigade, I had soldiers going out to position, and sometimes the Ukrainians going out there were drunk. I went to Andrivka, and we just started a mission. And in order to get into Andrivka, you had to walk down like this canal. It's like down this embankment and then back up. And it was muddy as fucking all hell. And I'm standing with both my 2 feet planted, and I start sliding on the hill. I'm like, here we fucking go. This is the start of the mission. Like I'm not even trying to slip and fall, and I'm already falling. So we get up this hill, we go down the other side, and we have to turn around and we have to walk a few kilometers north to bunker to hide and sleeps because the Ukrainian that's supposed to be leading us to position is drunk, right? So, anyways, he goes to lead us into Andrivka. We end up walking 17 kilometers to get to position with a full combat load. I had like 14 magazines, like 8 hand grenades in my dump pouch. I had 2 disposable rocket tubes in my backpack, fucking water for the trek, everything. You can imagine how much that weighs. And so we get to this position where we're there for 4 days, and this guy is drinking all of our water because he's hungover because he was fucking drunk the whole entire time. So by the time we leave this position, we're all fucking dehydrated. Like I'm lethargic, you know. I end up the two guys I was out there with end up running off. I don't know where the fuck they're at, so I go my own way, and I get into a bunker and I hear Ukrainians. So I'm like Dobry Den. I call out to them and like Dobry. So I go and slide into their trench, and this guy Ivan is in there. He's like, "Today is my birthday." I'm like, "This is fantastic." So he pulls out sallow bread, fucking water, gives me a water bottle. And I'm like, "This is fucking great. This is perfect." So I'm sitting there drinking water, enjoying this guy's, sallow and bread, and enjoying his birthday. You know. Meanwhile, there's explosions happening outside. But anyways, after I finally drank some water, he gave me a little water bottle. I kept it, and I'm like, "All right, guys, best of luck to you. Like, good luck." And I went on my way. If it wasn't for this guy fucking Ivan celebrating his birthday in the bunker, I would have had food, water, and I probably would have had even a more horrible time making it back. So, anyways, to bring it full circle, for me to go work with a machine gun and a unit of people I don't know, that's just a big no for me. Like for me, going out with people, I need to understand them, who they are as a person, what their weaknesses are, what their strengths are, what their capabilities are, so we can run a good mission. I sent one of my guys out on a mission to Andrivka, and two of our guys stepped on mines. And so he evacuated the casualties, went back. The two Ukrainians that he was with, they abandoned the mission. They ran away. They went AWOL. And so he went back to the bunker by himself. But when he went back to the bunker was blown up, so he couldn't even get his bag that was in there. And then he had to wait somewhere else to go and evacuate. With these casualties, the Ukrainians didn't help. He went to a bunker, and some older Ukrainians were in there, some older guys. And he's like, "Are you by yourself?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I will come help you." And these old Ukrainians, these old fucking grandfathers, come out of the bunker to come help him carry these casualties away because these other Ukrainians ran away. So for me, like, that's the image in my head, going to work with conscripts in some new brigade with a machine gun. I have no problem going to the zero line, but it needs to be with guys that have worked together, have trained together heavily, and understand what they're up against.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah. But yeah. Anything anyone wants to add? Chat was loving this, by the way. Chat was loving your entire story.
Yeah,
just
and
so
that's
you
in
know.
Drivka, right? 2,000 meters to that's my fucking 17,000 meters to Drivka. Right?
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
No.
one day we must do a stream of all the stories. There is so many. It's
That's what I
I've
say,
got an
Piper.
amazing one.
You do it for the plot, is what I call it. Now you do it for the plot. Even if the mission's fucked, you continue it for the plot. So when you come back, you have another story to sit there and complain about.
No, we should do one that's just Ukraine story time.
Yeah.
We should do
Yeah.
that. Let's do a stream about that where we just get like a bunch of
It'll be
people
funny.
just to tell
Oh,
stories.
I can tell you now, you'll entertain people for hours
Chris-
and hours.
Chris
All the
just said he
shit.
expects a guy to lead you to Odessa or something. So I have a quick story about
Yeah.
that. So we switched from Staromorsk in the Donetsk region to the Krakow area. And for the first mission, the company commander went with another Ukrainian to do reconnaissance. They come back. We get no mission planning. I'm like, fuck it. I'll go because I have experience and we already have Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie out in the front line. They need mortar support, so we need to get this fucking show on the road. So anyways, I'm in the vehicle, and I'm complaining to these people. I'm like, I don't even know where the fuck we're going on a map. We could be going to invade Poland or some other fucking country. I have literally no clue where we're going. I haven't seen a single thing. Absolutely nothing have I seen. We get out there, and I unload the truck in the first 2 minutes. As I finish unloading the truck goes to turn around, and FPV drone blows up like 5 meters to me. And I ask Pasha this next to me, Pasha, do you have the fucking FPV jammer? He's like, no. We had to give it to Bravo Company. I'm like, you had to fucking do what? And you're just telling me this now? We have no jammer. We have to walk across this big open highway to get this other tree line, which, mind you, they're like, yeah, there's another tree line there, but it's only like 2 trees in thickness. You're not hiding from fucking FPV drones in a tree line that's 2 fucking trees of thickness, So anyways, we walk across that highway and we start walking down this fucking tree line, and then we start taking artillery on the left and right. I'm like, Pasha, is there any fucking bunkers in this tree line? He's like, I don't know. I think there's one over here. I'm like, Pasha, what do you fucking mean? There's more shells blowing up around us. Fucking, we end up finding this little tiny hole in the ground. And from Andreevka, like, we had this thing where, like, whenever you got into a bunker, you'd always take your backpack off and your rifle, you leave it outside because there's barely enough room for even the soldiers inside. So all fucking four of us are in this little tiny spot like this, just back to back, crouched down. Our shit's outside the fucking trench. The artillery's just going up. I'm like, this is fucking great, Pasha. This is fantastic. So, anyways, we get up and we keep walking, and there's this place at this like crossroads that we're supposed to set up a mortar position. We get over there, and Pasha's like, I think it's somewhere around here. Fucking starts wandering around looking for this bunker. I have my night vision on. I find the bunker, and we get in there, and we get into this little door, and there's some bunk beds there, and there's two Ukrainians there from the 72nd Brigade, and they're setting up an assault CP, right? So command post for the 72nd Brigade assault, right? So we can't even set up our mortar position there. So we spend the night there with these guys. I give them some cigars because I bring cigars with me on mission. I give them a cigar each, and they gave me like, "Here, this is for you." They gave me some Russian Camel cigarettes from some prisoners they took earlier in the day. I'm like, thank you. You know? So I'm sleeping on the top bunk. Fucking tank shells are coming in, like hitting like the top of the bunker because they saw us go in there. Anyways, in the morning, we walk down the tree line like another like 600 meters. We find a bunker or blandage that's not used, and we decide to set that up for a mortar position. They bring the mortar system, drop it off. Great, we set it up. Come to find out that we're only like fucking 500 meters from the zero line. The Russians already come down this tree line. Like the Russians have come down this tree line. We're this tree line. So in order to leave, we have to go in the direction that the Russians are attacking. And so our mortar barrel's like almost straight up and fucking down. That's how close we're shooting the Russians. We have a new guy in position, and we get a call over the radio. They're like, "Yeah, there's some Russians coming across the field to your tree line." And so this new guy's like crying in the bunker. He's like, "I didn't know this was gonna happen. I didn't sign up for this. What the fuck?" You know, and Pasha are like, "It's okay. You stay there. We'll go outside and we'll watch the field from the tree line and wait for the Russians." You know, and this whole entire mission was like that because there was zero planning. Zero. Just like, fuck it. Yeah, we'll just go. We'll believe the Ukrainians and their planning. Again, we could have been attacking Poland, fucking Lithuania, Belarus. Doesn't matter. We could have been attacking anywhere. I would have none the wiser.
Oh my goodness. Like, wow. At least like he
I
didn't die.
know. But again, you do it for the plot, you know, the back of the vehicle. Just doing it for the plot.
True.
Now I'm jealous. I don't get a cigar. Like, what is this here?
You just got to come out to our position one time, Rachel. You'll get one.
Okay.
I went to Poland, so I just got some more Cuban cigars. I got some Romeo and Juliet cigars, so that even the Ukrainians see that you're smoking, like, oh, nice.
Magic,
Cuban?
Romeo Juliet number 2, please. I'll send you my address. Nova Posta, please.
Yeah, brother. There's actually a nice cigar shop in Krakow, so I go there and I pick up a box of cigars if I can. But nice place. I'll think of you, Rachel. You know, I'm sure where you're at now, we'll be seeing each other very soon.
Send me photos of your cigar. Yeah.
No, it's okay. Like your pinned post on Twitter is literally
Yeah.
you with your cigars. I was messaging Rachel. I'm like, do you think I can use one of these for the
The
thumbnail?
Russians are always like, oh, this guy looks like he's a part of the Taliban. I just got my mustache, my beard, I'm smoking a cigar. They're like, he must have been from Iraq or Afghanistan and came over here. Oh, sorry, guys. I'm American.
Oh my word. Okay, so I usually only ask people to come for an hour because I don't want to take up your time because I know you guys are super busy. Although if you have more stories you want to share, perfect. If you want to save that for a different stream, that's also good. I do want to say we got more donations. Graham donated £20 and Alex donated $50. So yeah, guys, that's the thing. I figured out where on DonorBox the setting is to accept multiple currencies.
Well done.
So now, thanks. No, so
But
the thing
we don't
is, you can
want
tick the
rubles
box, but-
and we don't want Zimbabwean dollars, please.
Oh no, here's the thing, right? I can go because I enabled it, but it never worked. Then I found they redid their backend, and it turns out you have to go select which currencies you're willing to accept.
Yeah, please, Zim dollars,
So
not
ruble is
and
not.
rubles. Both that currencies.
I
with
did
toilet
You should
actually-
leave rubles on for the
I
plot.
enabled rand.
Just to say.
I enabled rands actually.
Yeah,
Vaz.
I know.
got,
My father donated rands.
I got some South.
Well,
Huh?
my father actually did a donation for South African rand. I saw him there. Yeah,
Really? Oh, cute.
it was very cute.
Okay. Yeah. So because I saw like donations coming in, I'm like, hey, South Africans. Yeah. Cool. So,
Jan, we must set up. We
Key
must.
takeaway-
We must
yeah.
set up a stream of stories, please. It will be very, very good.
we should.
But it
Might
should
scare
be like
people
a.
away.
Okay, so
It should be
I
like
can- I
a.
can
You know,
tell
but
the-
you know what? Sorry,
I can tell the
Magic.
Godmother origin story in full, which is amazing.
They-
yes,
But the
But
guys
the
need to
entire
hear
thing
this.
is just, it's a saga. Yeah.
The guys need to hear this because they come here and they think, oh, we're going to sit in a nice little bunker with concrete and wood and a nice stove that's going to warm us, and we're going to sip tea and we're going to shoot sometimes. And that's not reality. I mean, I had to take a shit under cluster ammunition because I haven't been to a toilet in 3 days. So I had to. And I sat, and the cluster ammunition scattered all around me, but luckily I wasn't hit. But if I went out, I just said to the guys, please pull up my pants. I don't want them to find me like this.
okay, so we'll definitely set up a stream for stories. So Magic, your availability, I'll coordinate with Rachel. We can have Viper. Rachel, you can grab like 2 more people. But I think going out as a closing, I think Rachel needs to tell us her Godmother origin
Yes.
story.
I can tell the short version of it. I'll save the long version for the.
Okay, cool. The short version, and then we'll do the as like a
Sure, this was
Go
way
ahead.
back in 2023, over 2 years ago now. We had a series of coincidences that just happened at the same time, where we had one guy who decided to steal a car. It was a car used by multiple NGOs that were doing really good work out east, doing evacuations of civilians, and medical aid and things, and he stole that and caused a bunch of problems with that. At the same time, he decided that he needed to, because his other friend who was also on drugs had an issue with Chosen Company. He decided he needed to send death threats to Chosen Company, and then, which are not guys that you want to send death threats to. And then he decided to send threats to Protect a Volunteer as well, because we were assisting them. And so we all got these messages. We're like, what is even going on here? Like, how are we involved in what's happening here? Through pure coincidence, the same time that he did that, he got arrested for stealing the car, because that's what happens. You get arrested at police checkpoints for stealing the car. But because he had been yelled at by members of Chosen Company in the same day, he came to some conclusion. He's like, aha, this is Chosen Company. They're here to get me. Like, they come after me. In reality, they were all at the hospital at the time and not even in Ukraine. And then people from that, there's still lots of humanitarian volunteers in this country who believe this. They think that I sent Chosen Company after him to get them at the police checkpoint. In reality, no, this was pure coincidence. This is the police who arrested him for stealing the car, as they do, because that's what police do. But I am the godmother. I can send my armed thugs to police checkpoints to get car thieves. That's what I do.
Oh, Chris in chat is just like, I remember how mad Ryan was.
It's like, I honestly, so I feel bad for Ryan in this circumstance, because Ryan is just like, what is even going on here? Like, how did this even develop? Like, I can't even explain like how it ended up there. Yeah. No, Chosen Company also had nothing to do with that. Like, it was.
It's actually just a police guy that did his work.
It's the police. Like, this is a police work worldwide. That it's the police at police checkpoints that arrest you. It's not It's not foreign fighters there. So, yeah.
Listen,
Sorry,
can I ask one question? What nationality was this guy?
American.
Ha, okay. That's all I wanted to know.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Sorry, Magic.
Yeah, it's okay, buddy.
Out of
And Rachel, she's
listen,
also
out
American.
of the 150 Americans that probably served under me, I know there's 3 or 4 of them that's brilliant, really, and they're very good.
Mhm.
But for the rest, I won't say much. But yeah, if you want a mortar position, we do have mortar teams. You're more than welcome to speak to me after the stream. I'm just joking, guys. I'll stop recruiting now.
Here we go again, stealing my people. Now he's trying to steal me.
Well, they
Yeah,
become
yeah.
your people if you join.
Now he's trying to steal the person that does the recruiting. Crazy.
No,
It's
it's a
a
South
recruiting
African
scheme
thing.
that
We don't
going
go
on
for
here.
the small ones. We go for the big ones so that we can.
No,
Take
I think
the rest.
Americans
yes,
have a very hit or miss reputation here for a reason.
Sorry, what did you say,
Americans have a
Rachel?
very hit or miss reputation. Like,
It
Yeah.
is but South Africans, UK, Finn. Listen, it's with any nationality, it's a hit and miss. I can
Oh,
tell you that now.
I'll tell you 5 seconds of something. So, in this last area we worked with the brigade. I'm not going to say who they are because they're still working there. But anyways, when I was on position, sometimes our commander would be like, "Is the gun up yet? Is it ready yet?" I'd be like, "Shut the fuck up! You're taking up my battery. You're taking up the fucking radio. Shut the fuck up." Anyways, the brigade started calling me the American on the like, it's the American, just this belligerent American. Like he does a fantastic job, but you better leave him the fuck alone on the radio because he's gonna start yelling at you. You know.
We had
Oh my
one guy,
goodness.
American, amazing, also ex-marine, really one of the most solid guys. He saved so many of my guys' life, and we started.
Oi, I hope
I'm
that
not.
your mic is very sit still.
I am
Type,
literally sitting still.
Never mind.
type in a college.
Sorry. Gaan voort.
And we started calling him Captain America because that's how good he was. And I mean, it's something that because I like to change the guys' call signs whenever they come here. They're like, "Oh, Phantasma" or some stupid shit, and then I normally just change their call signs on the paperwork to
Oh,
more like
Poppy.
yeah. Like I had a guy called Poppy, and I said to him, "Listen, there's no way I'm gonna call you Poppy. It ain't happening." So he became Tequila.
So Liam has a question for you about the mortar team. Do you need your own shovel to join?
You
No
need to know
real
how
issue.
to use that shovel. You need to know how to use it for like 7 days in a row, working 12 hours plus. Digging. You better love digging.
Okay. Super, guys. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, we will set up the story stream. Maybe we can do that like on schedule, Rachel. We'll have like a story stream
I got
every
plenty.
like once
I
a
got all
month
kinds of
or
them.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that. Set it up. So let us know what days would work for you. Hey, Alita's in chat. Alita's in Cape Town. She's also South African.
Lekker by die see.
Anyway. Lekker by die see.
Sorry, guys.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Have
Thank
a
you
good
very much.
rest of your day, rest of your
Yeah,
night.
thank you. Thank you for
Awesome.
having me. Take care, everybody. Have a good
Thanks.
evening.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for being here.
Good night.
Thanks.